Hey, yo, what's up, YouTube, man? It's your boy, Ashton Jackson, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Dallas Cowboys getting another win, 2 straight wins in a row by the Dallas Cowboys to improve their record to 5-7. And they won today, 27-20. It was a really great performance by the defense. The Dallas Cowboys put together themselves a really good third quarter, better than what they've been doing in the past few matchups that they've been losing in a row. And then also, going to be talking about some of the unfortunate injuries that has been happening so far on the team that we endured during the game. And I'm going to talk about the upcoming weeks and things like that. So before we hop into the video, I'd appreciate if you guys like the video, subscribe if you're new, comment, and share my video with anyone who you think will enjoy my content. So by the time you guys see this video, they've already had given out the turkey legs to some of the top performing players on the winning team. But if I was a person that was handing out turkey legs, I would give it to DeMarvin Overshown. He had a hell of a game today, 7 tackles, a tipped interception to himself, a touchdown. He played amazing in today's game, and it just shows that he's going to be a future star in this league. And I'm not just saying that because he's been the Dallas Cowboys or he's on the Dallas Cowboys, but when you're looking at our defense and who's flying around, other than 11, it's 13 that's moving around at an unreal pace. And you saw that since week 1 when he chased down Deshaun Watson and he tackled him. And, you know, he's been able to keep up with some of these elite quarterbacks and been able to make plays at an elite level. And it just shown that you're just so mad about what happened to him last year, because we saw us in the preseason. People were talking about it and you know, they were riveting about him in the offseason and training camp, and then he went down last year. But I'm glad to see him this year, but it sucks because we're non-competitive. I know that we won these past 2 games, and we weren't supposed to win the Washington game. I know we got to win in this game against the Giants, who are tanking for a quarterback, and that's evident as we're seeing them play football. But again, you know, it sucks that, you know, we're not going to make the playoffs, and because if we made the playoffs this year and we were just a little bit better talent-wise, I felt like Overshown would have been crazy to watch in the playoffs. But again, I'm glad that we got a Sherrell linebacker now in the offseason. Cowboys' job to pair him up with another player, to pair him up with another linebacker that can fly around with him. I know they got Maris Lufau. They drafted him in the 3rd round. But if there's a guy like Harold Perkins Jr. out of LSU, or if we get a veteran middle linebacker that can come in and direct Overshown and have him utilize his speed in better ways, just because I've seen a lot of times where Overshown is flying to the football. Sometimes he's running into his own teammates. He's running so fast that he's not slowing down to make a tackle, and he'll just barely miss a tackle. So that's just that real quick. I'm going to talk, you know, I was really proud of him for that in today's performance. If I had to give it up to another defensive player, I would give it to Micah Parsons. He had 2.5 sacks today. He was doing his thing today as well, making an impact on the game like he always does. And then the third turkey leg, if I had to give one to another player, I would give it to Rico Dowdle. And then if there was one more player, if they're giving out 4, but I think realistically they're probably going to give out 3. But if they give out another person or somebody else they want to commemorate to, or, you know, one of the players would share their turkey legs with another player, I'll give that to Brandon Cooks for making the game-sealing first down catch and scoring a touchdown in his first game back. That's just some things that I would give turkey legs to. Obviously, I'm only going to do it for you know, Thanksgiving game, of course. So again, I'm going to talk about defensively and what the Dallas Cowboys did today. And again, you know, my key to winning the game was obviously stopping the run, right? But when you look at the running that we gave up today, it was only 116 yards. But if you look at how the breakdown of the runs were, my number 1 goal was to, hey, shut down Tyrone Tracy. You did exactly that. He only had 9 carries, 32 yards. Down the players that play running backs and that actually play the running back position, you held them down to only 1 touchdown. Tyrone Tracy had 32 yards. He averaged 3.6 yards on 9 attempts. And then Devin Singletary had 7 carries for 23 yards, averaged 3.3 yards a carry. So just between with those 2 backs, you only gave up 55 yards just for those 2 running backs. Now, what gave up that eventual 100-plus yards that you gave up to was because you gave up 57 yards to Drew Lock, and that mainly is because when the pocket is breaking down and you're not doing gap sound type things when you're pass rushing, and your gap rush or your pass rush integrity is not that great, Drew Lock is a little bit mobile. He can go out and go make a play. He didn't do enough for them to win the game. You know, they were 21 of 32, 178 178 passing yards. He had a turnover in the air and a turnover on the ground as well. He did fumble in today's matchup, so he had 2 turnovers. Malik Nabers had some decent catches today, 8 catches, 69 yards. I did say that the Dallas Cowboys could not let Malik Nabers go off, and he didn't go off. He had a better game in his first matchup in New York. More than, he had a bigger impact in that game than he had on this game. So, again, I was proud of what the Dallas Cowboys did. Defensively, they did their part. Again, the players that made plays today, Kendricks had a sack. Deron Bland had some decent plays today. Overshawn had a pick. I was proud of him. Donovan Wilson had a sack. Osa had a sack. Micah Parsons had 1.5 sack. I felt like he had 2, but right here he had 1.5 sack. Carl Lawson had 1 sack. Mike Smith had half a sack, and that half came with Micah Parsons when they both had made that play. So, really proud of the defense, what they did, but prayers up to Butler, suffering that injury that he did. Prayerfully, he's, okay, but it was a non-contact knee injury, and he went down trying to defend the play on Darius Slayton on the left side of the field. So he went down. Wanye Thomas, a few plays before that on the special teams play before that on that punt play, Wanye Thomas severely injured his left knee and had to be carted off the field. So that's never good as well. So, prayers up to those guys, and prayerfully, everything is a little bit better for those dudes. But again, I don't know. Cooper Rush was 21 of 36, 195 yards passing, had 1 touchdown. Rico Dowdle, and that was another key that I checked it off, as you guys see right here on my list of my keys to victory. I did say you have to give the ball, you have to run the ball efficiently and give it to Rico Dowdle. You gave the ball to Rico Dowdle with 22 times. You gave him the ball rushing 22 times. What happened? You won the game, and not only did you win the game, but you went over 100-plus yards rushing. He had 112 yards. He averaged 5.1 yards a carry, a touchdown. That's all we ask, is you give the ball to Rico Dowdle, make things easier for your backup quarterback. Cooper Rush threw the ball less than 40 times. He threw the ball 36 times. You didn't really want him to do that. But again, is what it is. You were anemic offensively today. Like, you didn't look good at all. Kevontae Turpin, 4 catches, 53 yards. Jalen Tolbert was 2 of 41. CeeDee Lamb, 2 of 39. He had to come out the game with a stinger injury. But other than that, he was dropping passes today. He dropped 3 passes today. And they put him on the sideline. And then they kept asking him, because I heard it on the broadcast with Tom Brady. And when they were talking to Dallas on the sideline, they said they didn't designate him, CeeDee Lamb, with any sort of injuries. So, again, I don't know if they sit him down because of disciplinary issues for him dropping the pass or whatever the case might be. That could be one reason. Or maybe it's just that they knew he was actually hurt and they wanted to sit him out for the rest of the game because they felt like they could have won this game without CeeDee Lamb, and because they was taking care of business defensively and they were able to run the ball. But then again, we also caught some breaks because Dexter Lawrence was out for the game. He suffered an elbow injury, and then Nunez Roches had the other nose tech. He had a stinger, so he was out for the game. So we caught a break on the interior of the offensive line. So that's about it, guys. Cowboys, now your Cowboys on a 2-game winning streak. They did what they were supposed to do, right? They went in here, took care of business. Now they're 5-7 on the year. I still felt like you can lose some games, still get a top 10 pick. I don't think that you can run the table and win and go to the playoffs, because you say I got to play Cincinnati, who's fighting for a playoff spot. The Panthers look really good against the Kansas City Chiefs. You got to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You got to play the Philadelphia Eagles one more time in Week 17, so they might be wrapping things up to get the East. So they're probably going to try and win that game. Washington, they might be fighting their butts off to just get into the playoffs, so they're probably going to smoke you in Dallas. So again, proud of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm proud for the players that they got the win. As a fan, I wanted them to lose again so we can secure a top 5, top 10 pick. It is what it is. I still think with 5 wins, you can secure a top 10 pick. You'll probably be picking around 8, 9, 10. But again, it is what it is. I'm proud for the players. For the players, I'm very happy that they won. You would rather, when you're spending as much time as they are in film room, how much they're putting their bodies on the line, how much they care for, most of these players do. You cheer for the guys and the coaches that want to win this game, right? But again, we won. Do I think that we're going to win December 9th on Monday night against the Cincinnati Bengals at home? Who knows? We got to watch the game, right? That's why they play the game. But I think it's going to be very tough to play those teams that I mentioned coming up, because I think if they dedicate to running the ball, they meaning the Cincinnati Bengals with Chase Brown, it can be a wrap. And I think that they have a bunch of, and if Trayvon Diggs doesn't play, but if Trayvon Diggs plays, they're gonna have a tough time throwing the ball with Higgins, Jermaine Burton, Jamar Chase. They're going to be able to throw the ball, but it's going to be tough because their offensive line isn't that great. Prayerfully, by then you get maybe Marshawn Nealon and DeMarcus Lawrence, but I think you get Marshawn Nealon in next week's contest. Not next week's, but 2 weeks from now when we go play. And then you're going to have the Panthers. I feel like if they dedicate to running the ball with Chuba Hubbard and Jonathan Brooks, I think that can be game. I think if they run the ball with Bucky Irving, talking about the Buccaneers, that can be game. With Rashad White, that can be game. If they run the ball again with Saquon, that can be game. And if Saquon has a better performance, way better than what he had in the first go-around in Dallas, that can be game. If they want to run the ball, depending on how Jane Daniels and them are feeling, they can run the ball with Jane Daniels, Brian Robinson, Austin Eckler, Jeremy McNichols, whoever's healthy, that can be ball game. So I think the next teams that you play from here on out can all run the ball. So what are you going to be able to do to stop the run? And then there's going to be some aerial attacks I think you'll have a tough time stopping. I think you're going to have a tough time stopping the Bucs, I think, from an aerial perspective. Same goes for the Eagles. Same goes for the Bengals. Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow have been lighting up the league, but it hasn't been equating for them for much wins. But, again, we're going to see. Dallas Cowboys have played great in today's performance, in my opinion, from the defensive side of the football. Offensively, they were garbage. But, again, that just comes with the territory when you're having your backup quarterback and then you already have an anemic scheme. The Giants are already looking on their way that they're going to be tanking for a top quarterback in next year's draft. So that's about it for the video. Hope you guys have a nice day. Stay safe, stay blessed. Hopefully you guys all have a great Thanksgiving. And that's about it. Bye.